Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I'm a travel agent with Marvelous Mouse Travels. Welcome to the round 2 results show of this year's Marvelous Madness tournament. If this is your first week tuning in with us, we are trying to find the best overall ride in Orlando. And so we are pitting Walt Disney World rides up against Universal Orlando rides. We just voted on our round of 32, and tonight we are here to reveal our Sweet 16. And to help me do that is my husband, Evan.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. This is fun. I'm excited about it.
Yes. And I have to let everybody know, just kind of off the top, that of all of the years that we have been doing Marvelous Madness, and I think we've been doing this since 2020, 2021, something like that. I mean, it's been several years. Yeah. This round had the most close matches of any round that we've had in any of the Marvelous Madness tournaments that we've done. So there were several that were just an absolute like razor thin margin. It came down to maybe 2 or 3 votes. So I'm excited for people
and one that tied again.
Yeah, one legitimately tied, and we had to like call in reinforcements to break the tie. So just a lot of interesting matchups that came out of this round, and some really interesting ones moving into the Sweet 16.
So as we look at our whole bracket here, you can see we're now, like Ginger said, at the round of 32. So I'm going to zoom in on the top left corner, and we will start there in the Disney side of the bracket. That first matchup was Guardians of the Galaxy going up against Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And, I mean, not as any shocker, Guardians of the Galaxy did win fairly handily, 83% to 17%. But quite honestly, other than about 2, maybe, or about 3, maybe 4 other matchups, this was one of the very few that were actually pretty lopsided victory. Because this next one, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I honestly, in terms of just on paper, Guardians of the Galaxy should have run away with this victory. So the fact,
I see what you did there.
There you go. So the fact that there was really any sort of, I guess, competition here to me came as a little bit of a surprise. And it just goes to show how much people love Runaway Railway, which is, by the way, the only Mickey and Minnie Mouse themed attraction in all of Walt Disney World. So it is pretty unique in that regard.
That's cool. I've never even thought about that. So Expedition Everest and Soarin'. This was close. I mean, pretty much anything that's in the, like, if something wins and it's in the 60s as far as the percentage points, that means that the actual voting was actually pretty close. And this was one of those examples. Soarin' did win. However, it was pretty close, 63% to 37%.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these are great rides. I think Soarin' probably took the victory just because it is a very unique attraction, to have kind of that immersive experience of feeling like you're literally hang gliding around the world. And there's a lot of smells that are part of that, and a lot of wind in your face. It's kind of like Flight of Passage, in that it kind of makes you feel like you really are there and part of it. And Expedition Everest is a great coaster, but it is a coaster, and there's lots of coasters at Walt Disney World. So I was happy to see Soarin' walk away with this one.
As we move on, we've got Big Thunder Mountain going up against Kilimanjaro Safaris. And Kilimanjaro Safaris advances on, but it was also pretty close, 61% to 39%. That's a pretty close matchup.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, Big Thunder Mountain is a great coaster, but there are lots of great coasters at Walt Disney World, but there is only one true safari attraction, and that's Kilimanjaro. So I'm not surprised to see this one win.
Wait, are you saying Jungle Cruise is not a true safari?
I mean, you're on a boat, so no.
Let's see here. We got Frozen Ever After going up against Tron. And this one was also close, which kind of surprised me, actually. Tron did win. but it was 67% to 33%. So a lot of love for Frozen there.
Absolutely. Especially when you consider the fact that Tron is an individual lightning lane attraction, and Frozen Ever After is not. You would expect Tron to just absolutely win in a landslide, and it didn't. So people do love Frozen.
All righty. So now we get to a very interesting matchup, because here's what happened. In a shocking turn of events, in my opinion, a shocking turn of events, the voting on the People Mover versus Rise of the Resistance was dead even. The exact same.
Flip-flopped on Facebook and Instagram. So it was like 67 to 33 in favor of People Mover on Facebook, and it was 67 to 33 in favor of Rise of the Resistance on Instagram. So complete reverse on the two platforms. And obviously when you average that together, that's where you get, the perfect 50-50 split.
So, like Ginger mentioned, she asked 3 people that we knew had not voted, but we also knew were familiar with these 2 rides. And I'll be honest, I was shocked. All 3 of them chose the People Mover. So, in a 50-50 split, the People Mover won the tiebreaker and advances over Rise of the Resistance. What world are we living in? Like, what's going on here?
People love the People Mover. I mean
I love it too, but
you got a hat.
I do have a hat. I wore it last video. It says I conquered the People Mover, but I love that ride. But I mean, more than Rise of the Resistance? What?
Yeah, not for me personally. And if you wanted proof that I'm not rigging these results, this is your proof.
This is your proof, yes.
Because if I had been rigging it, I would have absolutely moved Rise of the Resistance forward. But the people have spoken, and the People Mover moves on.
The people have spoken and moved on the People Mover. But so easily the biggest upset of this round, probably of this whole bracket. But that was shocking to me. All right, so now we get to another very, very close match. Very close. And it's Next Door Neighbor rides. Toy Story Mania going up against Slinky Dog Dash. In a very narrow margin, Slinky Dog Dash did win 54% to 46%. I mean, that's just a few votes difference.
Yeah, and I mean, these are great rides. They're obviously, you can't really choose between them on theming because they're both themed after Toy Story. So it really just comes down to, do you want that family coaster vibe of Slinky Dog Dash, or do you want that kind of interactive gameplay element of Toy Story Mania? And they really are, they're both great. They're both winners. So I love both of these. Would have been happy to see either one move on. But personally, I mean, my preference slightly of the two would be Slinky Dog Dash.
Yep, that's what I voted for. And that's recognized in how you rank them. You had Slinky Dog was the number 6 seed, and Toy Story Mania was the 11th best ride according to your rankings, which is shocking to me that People Mover was 15th best ride and it beat the number 2 best ride. So unreal, just unreal. I'm shook over that. Like I can't. It's blowing my mind. All right. Well, the last matchup in the round of 32 for the Disney side of the bracket. Last 2 matchups here. We got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train going up against Haunted Mansion. So we have an all Magic Kingdom matchup on this one. And it too was really close. For quite a while, Haunted Mansion was winning this one. But then Seven Dwarfs made a comeback and ended up winning 61% to 39%.
Which again sounds like a larger victory than it actually is. I mean, this is just a handful of votes,
right,
that tipped it one way versus the other. So yes, I mean, this was the one that I thought really could go either way. And like, I expected this one to be definitely closer than People Mover and Rise of the Resistance. But, in my opinion here, I do think the best ride ultimately won out, because my preference of the two obviously is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
And then the last matchup to see who advances to the Sweet 16 on the Disney side of the bracket, we've got Flight of Passage going up against Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And not surprisingly, Flight of Passage did win. And it was 69% to 31%.
This was another one that was neck and neck for a long time,
Sure
though.
was.
And it was, it really came down until the last few hours of voting before this one finally tipped one way or over the other, because they're both great rides, different parks, nothing like. So, it really just comes down to personal preference. But I did, in my rankings, Flight of Passage is higher than Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So I agree with the votes on this one.
Yeah, I voted for Flight of Passage. So before we move over to the Universal side, let's stop for a second and just look at the 8 rides that have moved on in the Disney half of the bracket. So your number 1 overall ride is ranked by you, Guardians of the Galaxy. Your number 8 overall ride, Soarin'. So that was the matchup we expected to see based on the rankings in this side of the bracket. And all Epcot matchup there. As you move down, we've got Kilimanjaro Safaris, the 9th seeded ride. So there's an upset. It beat the 7 seed. Going up against Tron, the 4th best ride, according to Ginger. That should be a pretty interesting matchup because those are totally different rides. Like totally different. We got People Mover. I can't even. People Mover after the upset of Rise of the Resistance. So the second overall ride got taken down by the people. Listen, I'm a huge People Mover fan, appropriately, in an appropriate amount. It is a wonderful ride. It is nostalgic. It's relaxing, but it is not better than Rise of the Resistance. I'm sorry. It is just not better.
As evidence of the fact that People Mover isn't, you can't even lightning lane that one at all. But
yeah, exactly.
It's a individual lightning lane attraction.
Laura, I agree with you. Laura said, "What in the world?" I agree. The people spoke, Laura. That's all I can say. I was not one of those people. I was not one of them. Andrew, that's what I'm talking about. Andrew, go Vols. That's right, baby. That's exactly, they're playing right now. I'm actually I'm recording it, and as soon as we're done, I'm going to go down and watch it and fast forward through all the commercials and stuff.
You are a Vols fan and you haven't checked out Evan's podcast, The Vol Bros, that he does with his brother. Go over and check them out on YouTube, as well as X, Instagram, Facebook. They're everywhere, but they are at The Vol Bros. They also have a really great merch shop. They have a pretty awesome goat hat that's themed after Tennessee's baseball coach. So check that out if you're a Vols fan.
thevolbros.com/shop. I got that lower third on there quick, didn't I? Let's see. Hey, Andrew, I appreciate that. He said the podcast is so good. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We will be live tomorrow night, actually. No, wait, what is this, Friday? We will be live Sunday night at 9 o'clock. We're live every Sunday and Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. I appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you very much, buddy. So People Mover going up against Slinky Dog Dash. Totally different rides. At this point, I'm just like, forget it. People Mover all the way. Like, let's just vote for it and root it on.
Go all the way through.
Cinderella story, baby.
I can't see it beating Guardians of the Galaxy.
I can't.
If it does, something's wrong.
But if it beat Rise of the Resistance, I can totally see it beating Slinky Dog Dash. But I realized when I said Cinderella story, like, no pun intended, because we're on the Disney half of the bracket right now. So we got Slinky Dog Dash, which was the 6th best overall ride according to Ginger. So that one would be expected to be making it this far. And then the last matchup left on this half of the bracket, we've got Seven Dwarfs, the fifth best ride, going up against Flight of Passage. Man, that's going to be a good one. That is going to be a good matchup. Man, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one turns out. Both of those rides would also, being in your top 8, we would expect it to move on to this far. Laura said she will revolt if People Mover beats Rise of the Resistance. If it makes it that far. I mean, who knows at this point? If it beat Rise of the Resistance, then what's it going? Soarin' might beat Guardians of the Galaxy at this point. Who knows, man? But I will say this: this is very intriguing. There's 4 parks, well, 4 main parks at Walt Disney World. Of those parks, we've got 2 from Epcot going up against each other. There's a ride, Kilimanjaro Safaris from Animal Kingdom, 1 from Magic Kingdom, another one from Magic. So that's 2 from Magic Kingdom, 1 from Hollywood Studios, 3 from Magic Kingdom, and a second from Animal Kingdom. So that's really impressive when you think about it. You've got, and it should have been 2, 2, and 2 when you really stop and think about it, because right now there are 3 from Magic Kingdom, including the People Mover. There are 2 from Epcot, Guardians and Soarin'. There are 2 from Animal Kingdom, Flight of Passage and Kilimanjaro Safaris, and 1 from Hollywood Studios, Slinky Dog Dash. If Rise of the Resistance had beaten People Mover, which should have happened, listen, I am pro People Mover. I love that ride, but it is not better than Rise of the Resistance. If that had happened, it would have been a perfect 2-2-2-2 from every park. How cool would that have been? How impressive is that for Disney's behalf to have those good rides evenly dispersed like that? That would have been really cool. But nevertheless, here we are. Laura said, to be fair, we did sprint from Tron for one last ride on People Mover this trip. I totally understand.
People Mover. Love the People Mover. Have nothing bad to say about the People Mover, but
I would have done the exact same thing. I love the People Mover. It's my favorite Disney hat. It says I conquered the People Mover. It's my favorite hat. But if I'm being objective, it's not better than Rise of the Resistance. All righty. Well, with that being said, Ginger, what do you think before we move on? What do you think about these matchups? Guardians going up against Soarin' and Kilimanjaro Safaris against Tron.
I mean, I hope and think Guardians will win over Soarin', but I will say,
who knows now?
Yeah, those are my 2 favorite rides in Epcot. I mean, I love them both. So I mean, if I was voting in this round, I would probably at least pause and consider which one to vote for. But I mean, for me, I think Guardians should walk away with that victory. Now, the placement of my screen, I can't see the next one. So tell me what the next matchup is.
Kilimanjaro Safaris against Tron.
That was
totally different.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, Kilimanjaro. Oh, Andrew just made a really good point. It's the longest ride. I mean, Kilimanjaro Safaris is long. It is a time commitment, but also you get to see and do so much. Tron is super short. It is one of the short, in my opinion, a little too short. So honestly, I could see this one go.
That's a good point, Andrew.
Either way, I really don't know. Which way this one's gonna go.
And like I said, they're just totally different ride experiences.
They are completely different.
So then you got People Mover going up against Slinky Dog Dash.
I mean, I would think Slinky Dog Dash would win that one, but who knows? At this point, we'll see.
Nostalgia may win the day again. And then the last one is Seven Dwarfs against Flight of Passage. That fascinates me.
That is going to be a very interesting matchup. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Flight of Passage pulled it out over Seven Dwarfs on this one, because people love that ride. And it is a great one, but they're both individual Lightning Lane attractions. So that means they're one of the top rides in their respective parks. So, I mean, this is a strong matchup. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. All right, well, let's go to the universal half of the bracket and see what won on this side and what is advancing on to the Sweet 16.
Before we jump
This,
into that, want to say a real quick thing about Universal, because this is big news. As everybody knows, Universal is opening a new park on May 22nd. They are opening Epic Universe. And prior to this week, there were no VIP tours for Epic Universe. There was no Express Pass for Epic Universe. And that all changed this week. So they have released both they've released both VIP tours for Epic Universe as well as Express Pass for Epic Universe. So if you're interested in visiting that park and you're concerned about waiting in long lines, definitely reach out to me and talk with me about those two options, because it's great, especially as of yesterday when I checked it. Evan and I are going to be there on opening week with our kids, and as of yesterday when I checked it, there was still some Express Pass availability and VIP tour availability for that opening week. So if you're interested in checking out Epic Universe and you want to be able to skip some lines, reach out to me at gingermmt.com. Let's chat about it.
absolutely. And just in case anybody missed that, it is gingermmt.com. There you go. Laura said, as far as the matchup between Flight of Passage and what was it going up against the camera? Seven Dwarfs. But as far as that, she said, Flight of Passage, baby, genius ride. It is a genius ride.
It's my dad's favorite ride at Disney World. As much of a coaster person as he is, that's his favorite.
Leanne, hey Leanne, welcome, man. What, all the way from Hawaii? That's what I'm talking about. Good to see you. She said that's so exciting. Y'all be there opening week. Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. Actually, we're gonna stay at Helios, so we'll be in the park, staying in the park. That's gonna be awesome. Super excited. So on the Universal half of the bracket, we've got Hagrid's going up against Spider-Man. Now, like Ginger said, as far as like the overall total amount of votes and rides that we had this round, we had the closest round ever as far as the amount of matchups that were separated by such a small margin. This was the outlier. This was not close at all. Hagrid's won in a landslide, 100% to nothing.
Listen, Hagrid's is such a fun ride. Even if you were not a Harry Potter fan, like the first time we ever rode Hagrid's, Evan, had you even seen any of the Harry Potter movies at that point?
Nope, not the first time we rode it.
I feel like you had, and you haven't read any of the books ever. So like he knew nothing about any of the theming elements and loved that ride because it's just legitimately, it's fast. It's fun. It has lots of different elements. Like you go straight up, you come straight back down. There's a free fall. Like it's great. I love it.
The acceleration on it is what's so awesome.
It is. I mean, it's fast. And like if you do love Harry Potter and you get all of those theming elements, it's even better. But even if you don't, it's legitimately a great ride.
Yeah, and now that I've seen the movies, I'm like, oh, so that's what that was. And but it's no kidding, like it's so smooth. That's a big part of it. And how he accelerates you so effortlessly and smoothly. It's a lot of fun. It's a great ride. Leanne said, sending y'all love and warm weather from the beautiful Hawaii. That's what I'm talking about. We appreciate that.
Take some of our pollen as well. That'd be great.
Yeah. That would be awesome, actually. That would be really good. Leanne said she loves Hagrid's. Nothing compares to it. So I think she would agree with your number one ranking for Hagrid's and as far as rides at Universal. So 100% to nothing. Hagrid's advances on. Not even close. Not even close. We got Transformers going up against Flight of the Hippogriff. And now we're back to really, really close matchups. We're talking like razor thin close matchup. And Flight of the Hippogriff beat it. It advanced on. It beat Transformers. Check this out. 51% to 49%. It does not get much closer than that.
No, it does not. I mean, and honestly, like I was a little bit surprised. I kind of expected, even though I personally like Flight of the Hippogriff better, I kind of expected that Transformers would take this one.
I did too.
And it didn't. So it's those views, man. Those views from
Yes.
Flight of the Hippogriff are beautiful.
I mean, you are literally at the pinnacle of the park when you are on that ride. You're as high as the top of Hogwarts Tower. You know, I mean, like Gryffindor Tower and Hogwarts Castle. I mean, like you're right up there with it. Did you like how I knew the name of it? Did I know the name of it? Was that right?
You did.
Okay, yeah, I thought I did.
Gryffindor
Yeah,
Tower. What other
yeah.
what other house was located in a tower? Which one of the other four?
Hufflepuff.
Nope. Hufflepuff
Just
was
kidding.
down with
I don't know.
Ravenclaw
There
and
you go. Okay.
in the dungeons. Yep.
I just knew that was Gryffindor's abode up there. That's all I knew. Andrew said he loves all the insight for these rides. We've never been to Universal. Hope to go sometime soon. Man, I'm so excited for Epic Universe, their newest park that's opening up in May. It's going to be awesome. Super Nintendo World.
I posted some like interior park photos the other day on my Facebook and Instagram account that it looks like concept art. It's not, like they're actual images from inside the
Seriously.
universe. And in
Like
particular,
the night images,
yes.
that's so colorful. Like it looks like concept art, like you're saying.
Right. And in particular, I feel like the Harry Potter section, like if you've seen the Fantastic Beasts movies, you know, the second one is set primarily in Wizarding Paris. And I mean, it looks like you are walking onto that movie set. It is an absolute dead ringer for it. And I'm so excited for the Ministry of Magic ride. I've been wanting them to bring the Ministry of Magic to life for years. And they've themed this ride around Umbridge, who's like, I hate her more than Voldemort. Like, I think she's one of the worst, like, antagonists in any book or movie franchise. She's just horrible. And so the fact that they have themed it around this character that you love to hate was genius. Like, I'm so excited about that ride.
You're exactly right. All right, so we got Escape from Gringotts, which is located in Diagon Alley in the Universal Studios park. And then honestly, right around the corner, you got Men in Black. So this is kind of a next door neighbor matchup here, both on the Universal Studios side. And Escape from Gringotts pulled it out by a pretty good margin. This was one of the ones that was not close. It was 83% to 17%, and rightfully so. That is a much better ride, in my opinion.
I totally agree. And I think, Harry Potter is a little bit more timeless franchise than Men in Black. Like our kids who are, almost 13 and 9, they don't know what Men in Black is. They've never seen Men in Black, but they know Harry Potter. So.
All right, now we're back to a close one again. You got Mummy and the Hulk, two very different rides, very different. The Hulk is obviously one of, I would say, one of the three most visually impressive roller coasters at Universal. Obviously, when you get there, the first two coasters you see are Velocicoaster because it's so tall, and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket because it's so tall. And then the next one you see is the Hulk. That first inverted half loop and then finish loop thing is iconic. And maybe that's why it won, but it won out 55% to 45%. So very, very close.
And this,
but I think it's the better ride personally.
Yeah, I agree. And this was another one that was totally flip-flopped on Facebook and Instagram. But even though Hulk actually lost on one platform, it won enough on the other platform that when we averaged them together, it came out with that narrowest of victories. But this was another one where Facebook and Instagram did not agree on this ride.
And speaking of iconic roller coasters at Universal, now we move on we got an all dinosaur matchup here. Velocicoaster in Jurassic Park And as to be expected, Velocicoaster did win, and this one wasn't close, 85% to 15%.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Velocicoaster is an awesome ride, especially if you love roller coasters.
Incredible. It's the most intense roller coaster I've ever ridden in my life. I love coasters, and it's amazing. Minion Mayhem going up against Hogwarts Express from Hogsmeade. Now, once again, I said this last time. I'll say it probably every time we do this. Universal Orlando considers the Hogwarts Express two separate rides. One that leaves from King's Cross Station right outside of Diagon Alley, and one that leaves from Hogsmeade. They consider those two separate rides because, like Ginger said, they are two separate ride experiences. The show is different depending on which direction you're traveling. So because they separated them into two rides, we did too. Also, it gave us the correct amount of rides we needed for the bracket, but that's neither here nor there. But so Hogsmeade, Hogwarts Express going up against Minion Mayhem. And actually, this one wasn't very close either. Hogwarts did win, and it was 84% to 16%. So it wasn't very close. You want to say something about that one before I go on?
I was just waiting on you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so the other one, the other Hogwarts Express ride going from King's Cross Station right outside Diagon Alley, going up against Jimmy Fallon. So we got another Universal Studios matchup here. And Hogwarts Express won again. And it was even more of a lopsided victory, 89% to 11%.
Yeah, I mean, this is my personal favorite way to take the Hogwarts Express is from King's Cross to Hogsmeade. And again, it's just because like that's the way it would have been for Harry in the books and in the movies. So it feels like the most authentic experience. That's why I prefer the Ollivanders in Diagon Alley versus the Ollivanders in Hogsmeade, because it just feels like the more authentic Wizarding World experience. But they're both great.
And you've been in both.
And yep. And also, what do you have to ride the Hogwarts Express, Ev?
The park to park ticket.
Yes, absolutely. Because it goes between.
The only way.
Yep. Because so if you got a base ticket, which is one park per day, you can't ride the Hogwarts Express because it goes to the other park. So,
yep. Totally worth the park to park ticket, by the way. All right. And then the last matchup of the evening that was voted on by you, Forbidden Journey, going up against one, like I said, the third of those three iconic coasters, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. And what in the world happened here? Forbidden Journey won. Like, what's up with that? And it was kind of close, 69% to 31%. But seriously, seriously?
I think it's the queue. I think it's the fact that you get to walk through Hogwarts Castle as part of the queue for that ride. Also, too, the only reason I didn't rank Forbidden Journey higher is because of like my own personal motion sickness issues. And if you don't have that, like there's really not anything bad to say about that ride. I mean, it's a great ride. And like I said, that queue, I will wait in line to walk through that queue and not ride the ride. Like I love the queue that much. So I'm not really all that surprised that this one worked out the way that it did.
So I will give you that. The Forbidden Journey inside Hogwarts Castle, it 100% is the single best ride queue in all of Universal Orlando. I don't think that it could even be argued, really. It is amazing. The Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is a fun ride. Like it is so much fun.
It is going away, and there's got to be a reason,
true.
right? There's
that's true.
It. Yep.
That's true. I still love you, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. Leanne said that she thinks Hogwarts Express is doing so well because it's so iconic. And it is a must-do compared to anything it would be up against. That's a really good point, actually.
I agree. I mean, I don't feel like you've been to Universal if you don't ride the Hogwarts Express.
I think that's a fantastic point. Yes, I agree with you both. When you think about you're at Universal, you got a little bit of time left, and you're like, oh, what do I do? Do I do Forbidden Journey or do I do Hogwarts Express? You're like, all right, we're going to go ride Hogwarts Express. Like, I mean, that's a good point. Now, speaking of Harry Potter, let's look at the rides that moved on. So these are considered by the voters the 8 best rides in Universal Orlando. Look how many of the 8 are Harry Potter themed rides. Hagrid's, Flight of the Hippogriff, Escape from Gringotts, Hogwarts Express, Forbidden Journey. 6 of the 8 rides are Harry Potter themed rides. Only Velocicoaster and Hulk were the only 2 that weren't Harry Potter themed rides.
And if my math was correct as you were rattling those off, I think we have 6 Islands of Adventure rides and 2 Universal Studios rides, I think.
Yeah, so Escape from Universal,
Gringotts, and Hogwarts.
Diagon Alley. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So it's
So
6
which of the 2 parks is the more thrill ride intensive, huh? There you go. That lets you know right there.
Yeah. And I mean, of the 2, Islands is my favorite.
Mine too.
I love them both, but Islands is my favorite.
Mine too. Totally agree. Well, tell me what you think about these matchups. You got Hagrid's going up against Flight of the Hippogriff. What do you think about that?
I think Hagrid's will take it down handily. I don't see that being much of a contest.
Both are located in Hogsmeade. So we got, it's kind of next door neighbor rides here. They are separated by a little bit of space, but Ollivanders and Hogsmeade is between the 2 of them. But, it's going to be tough to beat Hagrid's no matter what ride it is. Escape from Gringotts and the Hulk, 2 very different rides. What do you think is going to take the win there?
I think Escape from Gringotts might, and I think
it might beat it too.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is the queue. Like the queue for that ride is just so good in ways.
And the ride itself's really good.
Yeah, and the ride itself is really good. So, I mean, I think that one could go Escape from Gringotts.
I mean, I'm a roller coaster junkie, and I mean, I guess technically you could say that Escape from Gringotts is a roller coaster, but I mean, if I had to pick, I'm taking the Hulk. I mean, if I'm in the park and I'm like, I only got time for one left, and which one am I going to do? I mean, I'm going to ride the Hulk 9 times out of 9 times. But I agree with you. The theming of that ride queue and its location in Diagon Alley, it's probably going to win if I had to bet.
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
All right, so this one now becomes super intriguing. Velocicoaster going up against Hogwarts Express, leaving from Hogsmeade Station. What do you think?
I think it'll be close, but I
do too.
Velocicoaster will ultimately come out on top. But I will say, you and I disagreed a little bit on what was the number 1 ride at Universal. I said I thought it was Hagrid's. You say you think it's Velocicoaster. Based on how people have been voting so far, I think the people think it might be Hagrid's. So that's interesting.
I agree with you, yeah.
To see, how that's gone. Because honestly, I think it's pretty objective that those are the best 2. And it just kind of depends on your preference, like which is which. But Velocicoaster might be a little intimidating for some people. I feel like Hagrid's is maybe more accessible for a greater number of people, and that might be why.
Bingo. And I think that's why Hogwarts Express has a chance of beating Velocicoaster here. Because
anybody can ride it. Like there's no restriction or anything like that. So
it is a much wider appeal.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to put your stuff in a locker like you do with Velocicoaster. Yeah.
I mean, that should tell you something about the intensity level of Velocicoaster. It's the only ride that they literally make you empty all of your pockets. Like you cannot have anything in your pockets because it will not be there when you get off the ride.
Yeah. And I mean, people have tested it. Like people have tried to keep their phones in their pocket and stuff and lost their phone in the water. Like
you're upside down over water for a prolonged period of time. And there was one dude, he left his wallet in his pocket, and people said they could literally watch his wallet fall out of his pocket on the ride and splash in the water. It is the most, I love roller coasters, and it is the most intense roller coaster I've ever ridden in my entire life. So because now that's why I love it, honestly. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so good, but there are a ton of people who will not like that. And so Hogwarts Express is really, like you said, it's accessible to anyone. There's not a fear factor involved with the intensity level. So I wouldn't be shocked if Hogwarts Express beats it. All right. And then the last matchup, Hogwarts Express going up against Forbidden Journey. What do you expect out of that one?
I think this will be the one to watch. I think this will be the closest matchup in this round on either side.
Really?
Yes, because again, I mean, Forbidden Journey is the iconic Harry Potter ride. It is in Hogwarts. It doesn't get
Yeah.
more
It's in the
iconic than
castle.
that.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Hogwarts Express, in my opinion, the best direction of the Hogwarts Express going up against it. So I honestly don't know with this one. I mean, I know what I would pick, but I don't know what everybody else will pick. It'll be interesting to see.
That's a good point. Well, as I zoom out here, we'll get a glimpse at the whole bracket and see where we have progressed to at this point. So, Ginger, as we look at our Sweet 16 here, when are people going to vote on the Sweet 16, and when will we be live again to reveal the results?
We will be voting in my stories on Facebook and Instagram starting tomorrow. So that will go up in the morning. It'll stay up all day. And then Evan and I will be live again on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern to go over and reveal the Elite Eight. And then if you want to hang out online till 9 o'clock and watch the Vol Bros podcast, he'll be on right after that with his brother. So
Sitting in this very same spot.
Sitting in the very same spot. So a lot of time live for Evan on Sunday night. But you know, we enjoy doing this every year. We love it when people watch and interact with us in the comments. And
absolutely,
people have been coming up to me, you know, when they've seen me out and stuff this week and said, like, you know, talking about what they're voting for or what's surprising them and the way that it's going so far. So that's just always the most fun of doing this every year, is just the way that people get into it and enjoy it. So if you've been voting, if you've been watching, if you've been commenting, you know, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it, and hope that, you know, we'll keep doing this for years to come. But also, you know, just thank you for watching tonight on a Friday night and giving up part of your evening to hang out with us. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend. And we'll see you on Sunday night at 8.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.